What's going on, guys? Pat Damiano here, coming to you from the gym today. Quite frankly, it's freezing in my garage and I don't want to film in there or do my workout in there. So today we are in the gym and I'm going to be walking you through a nice and simple, straightforward, full body strength workout that you can do with just a few kettlebells. Let's head to the whiteboard and talk about it. All right, so here's what we've got on the menu for today. As you can see, like I said, this is a very simple and straightforward workout and is going to be primarily strength-based. Now, before we get into it though, if you see this and you like it, or you do it and you like it, this is a workout I took directly from my program, Project Velplex. This is what the workouts are going to be structured like and tend to look like. So if you like this and you want to kind of stop scrolling Instagram or YouTube and piecemealing a bunch of random workouts together and you'd like to have a little bit more structure to your program, go ahead and click the link in my description below so you can save 75% off your first 4 weeks of training. You don't need a ton of space, you don't need a ton of equipment, and as you'll see as we go through this, you are not going to need a ton of time. All right, so let's get into this actual workout. It is starting off with Turkish get-ups. So everybody's favorite and least favorite exercise, okay? Now, the way this is going to work, the Turkish get-ups are going to be done alone, meaning nothing else is supersetted with them. So you're going to do a set of 2 Turkish get-ups on one side, a set of 2 on the other, then you're going to rest about a minute to a minute and a half. It depends on how heavy you're going and how much you're challenging yourself. You'll then go into your second set, 2 on one side, 2 on the other. You then go into a set of 1 on each side, 1 on each side, and then 1 on each side. So it is 5 total sets. 2 on each side for the first set, 2 on each side for the second, and then you get the idea. Third set's 1, fourth set's 1, fifth set is 1. In an ideal world, if you can, you're kind of creeping up in weight as you go through that. Then what you're gonna do is take a little breather if you need to. We're then making our way into our accessory work. Our accessory work is going to be very straightforward, lifting-based accessory work for today. Now, with that being said, though, you go through this with little rest, and just these exercises in general, if you kind of go through them in the superset fashion that you're supposed to, your heart rate is still going to be getting up. So you can do a little bit of both at the same time. Anyway, we're doing 10 half kneeling presses on one side, 10 on the other. Take about 20 to 30 seconds. You're going to get into 10 goblet squats with a 3-second pause in the bottom. There's a specific way I want you to do that, which I will show you. Then take 20 to 30 seconds, and we're gonna go into 10 single arm rows on each side, all right? 10 on one side, 10 on the other. After those rows, then you can take about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, depending on how much time you need or want, or how much time you have, quite frankly, for your workout. Then we go back to the top, all right? And then 5 total sets of that. So set of presses, 20, 30 seconds, squats, 20, 30 seconds, rows, about a minute, minute and a half, then go back to the top, 5 sets, and then that's a wrap, right? So without further ado, let's get into our exercises and see what they're gonna look like. All right, so let's get into our first exercise for this one, which is the Turkish get-up, and I wanna go over this one because I know for some people it can be a little complicated. There's a lot of steps. But if you just kind of take your time and go through it step by step, so I'm gonna actually be calling them out. So if you actually wanna try this and practice it with me, that's a really good way to kind of constantly get the steps in your head. So here's how it's gonna work. We're gonna do our right arm. So you're gonna lay back, all right? From here, I'm gonna roll over to the side. We call this little fetal position. Grab it with both hands and then roll and punch up. That's gonna be your most efficient way. So my right hand is up, my right leg is gonna be the one that is bent. So from here, my left hand is out to the side. I'm going to roll to the side to get onto my elbow. This is usually where people mess up. A lot of people in Turkish get-ups, they try and sit straight up and it's really hard. So you're gonna roll over to the side onto your elbow, then straighten your hand. So now, or straighten your arm, now you're on your hand. Press your right foot and left foot into the ground to shoot your hips up. Left foot slides back, and I'm in this position right here. Take a look at me. Right foot, left knee, left hand. Nice solid position. I could sit here all day. From there, I come up to this kneeling position. I'm going to then stand up, and then we just reverse it. So in this case, left leg steps back, okay? My left hand is going to slide down my leg to find the floor easily. Left foot slides through. Take a seat on my butt, elbow down to the ground, roll back, and boom, all right? That is our Turkish get-up. Remember, you're doing 2 in a row, so you're gonna leave that arm straight. 2 in a row on one side, 2 in a row on the other, then take a rest, another set of 2, and then 3 sets of 1 on each side. Take your time and relax, all right? 5 sets of your Turkish get-ups, and then we move on to our accessory work. All right, so from there we have our accessory work, and we are going to be starting off with our half kneeling press. So our half kneeling press is this position right here, half kneeling, meaning we only have one knee on the ground. From here, what I want you to do is what I call tightrope. So bring this leg in. We want a nice narrow stance because as I'm pressing, we're gonna be challenging our core a ton, and we want our core and abs to keep us upright. If I let my leg get out to the side, now I have a wide base, and that is what is keeping me upright. Not exactly what we want. So, half kneeling position, get this kettlebell up, elbow in nice and tight. So forearm is against my ribs, and from there I'm going to press straight up and then bring it back down. 1, 2, all the way up to 10. And we immediately switch sides again, tight roping, and press straight up. This other hand too, try to get it out to the side. I don't want you leaning and helping yourself by pushing this hand onto the leg that's up. Again, ton of core activation, ton of abs in this one. Now we're gonna get into our goblet squats with that pause. Like I said, there's a specific way I want you to do this. Now real quick too, I know I'm demonstrating all these exercises with the same weight. That might not necessarily be the way that you go about this. I'm just using one to demonstrate. You can mix and match weights however you need to, okay? So our goblet squats, we're gonna get this kettlebell up into this goblet hold position, pinch these elbows tight. We're doing just a regular goblet squat, but what we're gonna do is hold in the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and then stand up. We're doing that every single rep. So again, rep number 2, 1, 2, 3, and up. Now, one thing I want you to keep in mind is I'm holding not 100% in the bottom. So I'm not doing this and relaxing like a stretch in the bottom of the squat. I'm a little bit above that. So there's constant tension on my legs when I do that goblet squat. So again, not dropping to the bottom and relaxing. I'm holding a little tension for 1, 2, 3, and then standing up. 3 seconds on every rep. And something I always like to tell people when I'm teaching classes or with them in person is 3-second pause is different than counting to 3. So 3 seconds is 1, 2, 3. Counting to 3 is 1, 2, 3. Those are very different things when you are under duress and sitting in the bottom of a squat. So 10 reps of that, and then we move on. All right, so the third and final exercise we're gonna be doing is just a nice and simple single arm row. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. If you do have a bench or something you wanna lean on, like a chair, you can always just put your arm on there and do rows like that, like maybe you would in a gym on a bench with dumbbells. But the way we're gonna be doing it, or the 2 options I'm gonna give you today, are with nothing. So, one option is going to be squared up right here with the kettlebell in between our legs, and then we're just going to row till this kettlebell handle gets about to our hip, and we're right there. Elbow stays in nice and tight. So 10 on one side, 10 on the other. Another way that you can do that is by kicking this leg back. Now we're in a staggered stance. You can lean on this elbow or this knee if you want, and we go 10 like that. 10 on one way, and then 10 on the other. Again, personal preference there. Neither way is necessarily better. It's just whichever one you want to do so you can do both of them. Regardless, you're doing 10 on one side, 10 on the other. Then after your set of rows, you can rest for about a minute to a minute and a half. Go back to your kneeling presses. You're gonna do that 5 total times. And then that's gonna be a wrap, guys. That's it. So you have the 5 sets of your Turkish get up and then 5 sets of your accessory work, and that is it, right? Add in a little bit of a warm up in the beginning, and you should be golden for an awesome full body strength workout with just a few kettlebells in about 40 or so minutes. It really depends on how much rest you're taking and how much you're challenging self. But that is it. Just a few kettlebells. As always, you don't need a ton of space, you don't need a ton of equipment, and you don't need a ton of time. I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or just let me know what you want to see next from me, drop a comment in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date when I've got new videos releasing 3 times a week. That's how much I'm doing this for you guys. So subscribe and hop along for the ride. I'll see you next time.
Yeah.